I met a gypsy.
So you are making some big changes this season. The whole sport, there's a lot of changes. There's a lot of different stuff that we can talk about right now in your world. But probably one of the more exciting things for you is some of the changes that you've made. So started your own team essentially with a completely new bicycle and a whole new concept. So I don't know where you want to start with that, but I'm pretty keen to hear about it.
Yeah, no, you're bang on. Anybody watching wondering what is on the hat, that is the team name, AON Racing. So I was with Trek Factory Racing for 7 years. Pretty much was kind of going to retire previous to that into end of 2017. Had a massive breakout year in 2018. Got my first podium. Had a 7th place at Val di Sole. And Trek at this moment in time had decided to start their own race team again. Now, they had teams before that are privately managed, so it's just supplying the team with bikes basically and products. So a much easier way to run a team. And then Trek kind of stopped that when people moved on, and Aaron Gwynn actually moved on. He took his management with him. That all changed, and Trek weren't really on the scene for a few years. And then they decided to start a factory race team, and they called me up in 2018 and said we want to be on it. And I had my school passwords as TWR11 for like my whole childhood because I wanted to be on Trek World Racing, you know. So when I received that phone call, I had made it, you know. It was like, that was it. I've done it. I've completed it, you know. And the first year, 2019, wasn't great. 2020 was insane. I was world champion. Went to the next again race, the next again weekend, qualified like 3 seconds up in the peeing rain, and this place at Maribor was like, in my head I was set to just, and it was, like I said before, it was happening so easy. It was just, I wasn't even trying, it felt like. So I was kind of in my mind prepared to go and dominate that season and just let the ego get out the box. Had a stupid crash, and that led to 21 being an amazing season as well. I kept the momentum going. 22 was kind of okay, and then 23 I had the big injury. So I kind of got going again this last year from that, but it was like a real incline at the start of that contract, and the last bit just tailed off. And you know, it's funny, I've thought a lot about it. RV was on this podcast, right? And he stayed at Pro Circuit like pretty much his whole career, like a good 7 years of it in the 450s. And he said he wished, it was one of his biggest regrets, was not moving. And for me, 7 years is a really long time. And I don't think I really realised how normal your surroundings get over that period of time, because you're doing the same, you're going to the same races. We stayed in the same hotels for pretty much 7 years. You know, you're rolling into town, you're with the same people in the van, you sleep with the same people, you're on the same bike, you're pulling the same kit on. It started to get just monotonous, I guess, and I didn't realize it was happening really until now when I've moved away. But I think that's really fundamentally what happened. I was getting a little bit bored. I wasn't really setting new goals, and yeah, it just got stagnant, to be honest. I was looking at other places going, look at that bike, I really want to try that, or fuck, that kit looks really cool, I wish I could try that. And I was just starting to, that side of me was just starting to come out. So for this season, we started talking with Paul, my management company, Net Performance. A couple of years ago, I said, I'm looking around here, man, and I don't really see any team I want to be on. There's really no English teams. There was kind of one English team that I thought the bike was as good as everyone else, but there was never really an opening there. So yeah, I've looked around and thought, well, if there's nowhere else you want to be, there's one option. That's make your own team. And I remember when I said it to Paul, and he was like, I could see it on his face going, wow, that's a really big job, man. That's going to be big. And then kind of halfway through this year, he was watching. Oh, it's a big tube, yeah. And I don't think I realised at the time. I definitely didn't realise how big it was. Like, fuck, it's just me and my dad in a van, man. Generator will be fine.
Yeah, it can't be that hard.
Yeah, it's not what you're talking about. So yeah. Anyway, halfway through the year, he could see it on my face. He was like, "This guy needs out of here. Like, we've not really got a choice here. We need to do it." And as you've just said, the amount of change that's happening in our industry at the moment is just crazy, really, to be honest. And a lot of it, so much of it, which is maybe another topic, has been negative, which has been really, really tough to see from the outside, because when does negativity ever help any situation, ever? At very least, you can try and be positive about it, you know? So I've been trying to be positive, and then of course we set out to start our own team, and probably the worst off season to date for the industry. So me and Paul are sat there like, I've already committed to leaving Trek. We hadn't really got anything fully set out yet, and yeah, the pressure was on. But as they say, pressure makes diamonds, and we left ourselves. We put our back against the wall and really left ourselves with no option. I wasn't going to be happy anywhere else unless I got to do my own thing. So we bit the bullet. We sucked it up, and we started the task of building a team from pretty much scratch. So the first thing I done was approach a Swiss bike brand called Gamux, Gamux as the Europeans would say. And this guy called Pascal with his brother Domi have this bike since 2019 basically, and I have, as well as probably every other professional racer on the circuit, watched that bike come past in practice, just going, oh, I want to go on that, and it's like a real small brand that would never be able to give the budget to a factory team. So it's like one of those boutique bike brands that's just out there, way better than the rest. But because they're not a massive brand with loads of funding behind them, they'd kind of never really get to ultimately where they wanted to go. So it was almost like it landed on my lap at once. I was like, I'm going straight to those guys. I sat on the bike in Leger, and I mean sat on the bike, like just sat down, put my hands on the handlebars, and it was like the scene out of Avatar where they plug themselves into the dragon. I was just like, oh, this is the feeling, like this is it. It just felt like a moto. The front end was high, bars and everything, the roll was set right, and yeah, I just bounced around in it a couple of times in the car park. It had the belt drive, so no derailleur, electric shifting. Just like, okay, this is already a different sport. So pretty much shook Pascal's hand there and then on the spot. He's obviously like, what is happening, And that was the moment in time we committed to that. I said, right, if I've got a bike, the rest we can worry about later, And the rest we have worried about. And we've spent a lot of time over the last kind of 3-4 months just trying to rack up as many sponsors as we can. And that's been difficult too, because the whole reason I wanted to do this was to get the best of the best, no compromises. And sometimes the best of the best doesn't have budget, and in fact, most of the time it's probably the same as the motocross industry. The budget's in the places that don't, it's not well utilised, and it's very similar in our sport. So I was stuck between a rock and a hard place, and honestly, it's turned out amazing. I've pretty much got the bike built from top to bottom exactly how I want it, with the people around me, amazing teammates. It's it's really become something. I'm really excited for it. You can probably feel the energy.
Bro, I'm so stoked for you. Like, I mean, I've been following your career for a very, very long time, and I love the way that you've always done everything. Like, even the guys from Sleeper and the films that you make, and the way that you've always told your story. And there's just been such a cool level of like transparency and humility, but also enough, like you said, like your ego in the right place to sort of say the right things. Sometimes people don't really want to do that. And this just feels like it fits, and to be in that place where you are on the bike you want to ride, running the stuff that you want to run, like that's such a rare opportunity in sport for somebody at the highest level to be able to pull that off. And I just love it for you. Like, I'm really excited to watch it.
Yeah, no, I mean, everybody, I think the whole industry, to be honest, I know for a fact there's a lot of people kind of laughed at me when I said that was my plan, and the industry and the shape that it's in, it really did sound like a suicide mission. But I knew from day one, I've always been a gut instinct guy. I've always went on gut instinct. If something doesn't feel right in the stomach, listen to it, because it's 99% of the time it's bang on. And from the moment I closed my eyes and thought about doing this, I could see the whole thing. I could see the pits. I could see the people in there. It was almost like it was already created in another land. I just had to commit to it, and it would show itself. And that is exactly what happened. As soon as I made the commitment to, I'm doing it, it just started things like falling from the sky and just landing in place. And you're going, yes, this was the right time, and I was supposed to do this. It was the right thing to do. And then seeing how the industry has taken it on as honestly, it's been so good. Like, we've had to obviously stop reading some of the comments at times because it's like you can't believe too much of that stuff. But the sport needed something really positive, and it needed something really exciting. And I feel like we've brought that. Not that that's what I intended it to be. I knew we needed it to be exciting, but I kind of also knew it would be, because, like I say, nothing's happened in the sport like this for such a long time. And then to watch everything and watch the sport like blow up for like a week, and it was just positive stuff. Every single thing we posted was only positive comments, and I think it was so good for the sport to see that for a little while. And like you say, all those people saying, oh, the sport's in a really bad place, so to pull that off this year and show people that no, it's like your kind of mindset's in a bad place. Yeah, that everything's struggling, the world is struggling, but if you have the mindset of, oh, we're all struggling and it's really difficult, well, it's only going to get harder for you, you know. So we have put a group of people, and it's all down to the people I have. We have 2 guys from Slovenia, Tina and Grega, as well as Dom and Pascal from the bike brand. So Tina and Greg have been managing a team called Junior Tools, and it's had a few different bike brands over the years. They had an American rider, Dakota Norton. Don't know if he's ever been on the podcast. If not, you should line him up. He's a mega good motocross rider. So he ended up winning his... Yeah, good. He's a good one. He'll be a good chat. He ended up winning his first race with the junior guys on Da Vinci, and he won his last race with the junior guys on Da Vinci. So the guys have got some pedigree, and they've been racing for like 15 years, and they run like they're not Swiss, but they run like a Swiss watch. They're absolutely dialed. So I've got those 2 guys, so it feels like the management, well, they have literally been doing it for 15 years. So that side of things all taken care of. Paul and April from Net Performance have been working their asses off to pulling some funding and creating some partnerships, and we've done this. Actually, will come out. Can't say too much on it yet, but as far as like the business side of it, I've obviously tried to do it in a really sensible way to benefit all of us together. It's not your conventional team. Like, we will never swap bike brand again. We have kind of partnered with Gamux for life. We're not a team that just gets bike brands and moves things around. We are all one. When you come, if you want to ride a Gamux, you have to be on this team, and if you want to be on this team, you have to ride a Gamux, sort of thing. And that's how it will remain. And just that's fundamentally so we can control absolutely everything. So I went on a bit of a tangent there, forgot where we were, but
I love
keep
it.
shooting the questions.
No, I love it, dude. No, it's cool, man. You're in a super cool place. So tell me more about the bike, because I feel like I need one.
Yeah, honestly, you do. I wish everybody could have one. It's I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place with that one as well, because it's so good and I want everybody to experience it, but I want nobody to have the advantage.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.